Welcome back, guys! Let's talk about CSS. In this tutorial, hindi natin i-cover yung buong CSS ha, but we will be covering all the concepts that you need to know. Sa HTML tutorial natin, nabanggit ko doon na pwede tayong maglagay or mag-attach ng CSS para mapaganda ang isang web page. Para sa mga hindi pa nakakanood at gustong manood, it's a beginner's guide for those who want to learn the basics of HTML. Ilalagay ko na lang sa description yung link. Bago tayo mag-start, let's have a short introduction first. Ano nga ba yung CSS? Here's the definition. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on screen, paper, or in other media. It controls the layout of multiple web pages all at once. To make it simple, CSS is used to modify the appearance of a web page. Actually, palaging napagkakamalan din tong programming language, pero hindi. It is a style sheet language. Kung yung HTML ay ginagamit natin doon sa mismong content ng web pages, yung CSS, it is used for the presentation of that content. Kung papaano nyo siya gustong i-display or i-present. Yung CSS, ma-express nyo dyan yung creativity nyo, kung paanong style ba yung gusto nyong gawin dun sa website nyo. Marami. Marami kayong pwedeng gawin using CSS. It is also considered as a rule-based language kasi nga, you define the rules by specifying group of styles that you want to apply on a particular elements or groups of elements on your web page. So, paano nga ba siya gamitin? Ito yung syntax. CSS syntax consists of a set of rules and it describes how HTML elements should be displayed. Each CSS rule is composed of a selector and a declaration block. Ito siya. Ano ba yung selector? Selector selects the HTML element you want to style. Ini-indicate lang natin dyan yung element na gusto nating lagyan ng style. Sa HTML, meron tayong elements and tags, di ba? Meron tayong header element, input element, button element, p element, and so on. For example, gusto nyong lagyan ng style yung h1. Lagyan nyo lang dyan sa selector, h1. So, lahat ng h1 element sa web page nyo ay malalagyan ng style na i-apply nyo. That's an example. Pero mamaya gagawin natin yan. Yun ang selector. After ng selector, we have here the declaration block. Declaration block is a collection of CSS properties and values. Magkapares palagi ang property and value. Separated siya ng colon, and the entire declaration must be terminated by a semicolon. We also need to enclose the declarations within curly braces or brackets. These curly brackets denote the start and end of the styles that apply to the selector. Ngayon guys, we have several types of selectors. Yung main selectors ay yung element, class, and ID selectors. Element selector muna tayo. So obviously, element selector targets elements by their HTML tag name. Nabanggit ko na kanina yung sample ng element or type selector. Di ba sabi ko, for example, gusto kong lagyan ng style yung h1. Gusto ko siyang gawing color green and yung font family, gusto kong gawing sans serif. Paano ba natin gagawin yon? O tingin tayo sa syntax. Again, first is yung selector. Selector muna. So, h1. Since element selector siya, dito, ilalagay nyo lang kung anong element yung lalagyan nyo ng style. h1 yung lalagyan natin, so ang ilalagay ko rito ay h1. But any HTML element can be used as a selector. Pwedeng paragraph, footer, button, H2, H3, and so on. Any HTML element. Tapos, yung nasa declaration block ay maa-apply dito sa H1 element. Ito yung properties. So, color and font family. Ilan lang yan sa mga properties ng H1 element. Ito naman yung values. Green and sans serif. Separated by colon and terminated by semicolon. Alright? So, ma-apply na ngayon yung mga style na yan dito sa ating H1 element. Next, the most common and useful selector is the class selector, while the other one is the ID selector. Class selector targets elements by their class attribute, and yung ID selector naman, it targets a single element by its ID attribute. Explain ko muna kung ano yung class and ID. In HTML, both classes and IDs are attributes that can be applied to elements to provide additional information about them. Ano ba yung differences nilang dalawa? Saan ba sila ginagamit? Dun muna tayo sa class. Here's a short definition. The HTML class attribute is used to specify a class for an HTML element. Obviously, multiple HTML elements can share the same class. Take note, multiple elements can share the same class. Pwede siyang i-share sa iba. Samantalang yung ID naman ay hindi. ID must be unique. Ito naman yung definition ng ID. ID attribute specifies a unique ID for an HTML element. Next, ID attribute is used to point to a specific style declaration in a style sheet. Tatandaan nyo, ID name must be unique. Nag-iisa lang siya dapat sa buong HTML document. Kabaliktaran naman ng class name. Ang class name naman ay pwedeng gamitin or i-call ng multiple times. Classes and IDs are also used to apply CSS styles to the elements or even to manipulate the elements with JavaScript. Paano ba gamitin yung classes and IDs? Para mas ma-explain ko siya ng maayos, I will give you an example. Class muna. Ito. We have here the tag name, itong H1, class attribute, and content. That is an example of a single class. Meron din tayong multiple classes. Ito. Tag name is div, class attribute, class name 1, followed by the class name 2, and content. Gaya nga ng sinabi ko, it can have multiple different classes in the same attribute as long as they're separated by a space. In order to select an element by class, gagamit tayo ng dot or period or tuldok followed by the class name as the CSS selector. Yung tuldok na yan, it tells CSS that whatever follows is a class name and not an HTML element name. Okay? So ngayon, we're going to combine classes for CSS styling. Balik tayo sa class selector. Again, class selector targets elements by their class attribute. For example, gusto kong gumawa ng 3 different types of buttons na mayroong magkakaparehas na design or style. Tapos, nagkaiba lang sila sa kulay. Ito yung sample. Sa ganitong case, pwede tayong gumamit ng iisang base class for our 3 buttons since magkakaparehas naman sila ng style. Here's my HTML button element. Tapos, ito yung CSS. Button 1, button 2, and button 3. Meron silang magkakaparehas na class name which is BTN class. Di ba nga, sabi ko kanina, multiple elements can share the same class. So that is an example. Diyan, we can also have 3 other classes that define the specific color. Sabi ko rin, pwede tayong gumamit ng iisang base class para sa kanilang tatlo, since magkakaparehas naman sila ng style at yung base class nila ay itong BTN class. Then, nagkaiba naman silang tatlo sa kulay. Kaya magka-create naman tayo ng 3 other classes that will define the specific color. Ayan. Class BTN-1, background color is blue. BTN-2, green. And BTN-3 is gray. Sa HTML button element naman, dinugtong lang natin sa base class yung second class name. Ito. Yan o. BTN space BTN-1. Then, ganun din sa BTN-2 and BTN-3. So, yan yung class selectors. Next, ID ulit. It targets a single element by its ID attribute. Halos same lang din naman siya sa class selector. It is also an HTML attribute. Pero kasi, ang HTML element ay pwede lang siyang magkaroon ng iisang ID. But, pwede siyang magkaroon ng multiple classes. Plus, ID should be unique within the HTML page. Paano ba siya gamitin? Example, we have here the tag name, itong H1, unique ID attribute, itong main header, and content. In order to use an ID as a selector, gagamit tayo ng hashtag or number sign, followed by the ID name as the CSS selector. Halos same lang din naman siya sa class selector, pero hashtag naman yung gamit natin dito sa ID. Next, CSS selector combinations. Marami tayong ways to combine selectors. Yes, we can combine those selectors. To make your selectors more specific, the first way to combine selectors is to specify multiple selectors that an element must have in order to be styled. Paano ba yon? We just simply need to write the various different selectors together with no spacing between them. Halimbawa, gusto kong iselect lahat ng H1 elements with the class main_header. Gagawin kong kulay green. Then, ganito nyo siya gagawin. H1, so yan yung element, dot main_header, class name, then yung property and value. Kapag naman gusto nyong iselect yung element with ID red-btn, pati yung class btn and btn-1, ganito nyo siya gagawin. So, yung ID red-btn muna, .btn or btn class. Then, after that is yung class btn-1. Tapos, property and value. Gagawin ko siyang red. Alright? Pwede nating i-combine yung mga HTML selectors sa ganyang paraan. Pero, meron pa tayong other ways. To use multiple selectors to specify an ancestor of an element, add lang tayo ng space between the ancestor and child selector. For example, ito. To select all p tags here sa loob ng div tag, we need to use the following selector. Div, then space, tsaka pa lang yung p tag. Sa loob is yung property and value. Ganyan natin maseselect yung mga p tags sa loob ng div. And yung div is yung ancestor. Another example, seselect natin yung H1 dito with the class of test. To have a header with the class main_header as their ancestor, ganito natin siya gagawin. Header or yung element, then yung class name, dot main_header. So, yan yung ancestor, space, h1 dot test. So, h1 is another element, and yung test is yung class name. Sa loob is yung property and value. Okay? The last common combination of selectors is when you want to share a set of style properties and values between multiple selectors. For example, meron tayo ritong class test1 and class test2. Meron silang same style properties and values. Then you can combine these selectors into one selector by using a comma between the selectors. This allows us to avoid duplication. So, lahat ng CSS combination selectors, guys, pwede natin gamitin lahat yan to create even more complex combinations kapag kinakailangan. Pwede yan. Meron pa tayong isang klase ng selector. Ito yung tinatawag na universal selector, which is denoted by an asterisk. It matches all elements in the document. Kapag ginamit natin siya, it applies styles to every element on the page, regardless sa type, class, ID, or ano pang attributes. Ito yung sample. Ginagamit lang natin siya to set some defaults for our entire web page. Gaya ng font family or font size. Yan. After natin ma-discuss yung iba't ibang selectors na meron tayo, tatalakayin naman natin kung paano natin ilo-load yung mga styles na yan. Meron tayong 3 main ways to do that. We have the inline style. Inline styles are applied directly to the HTML elements using the style attribute. Rekta siya sa HTML element. Here's an example. Ayan. Dito, hindi na tayo gumagamit ng selector. Ang gamit natin dito ay yung style attribute, then property and value. Pero guys, itong inline style ay hindi ko siya recommended. Hindi ko siya nire-recommend. Since HTML is meant for the content only, and yung CSS styles ay para sa design. It's meant for CSS files only. That's why, for me, hindi maganda na paghaluin silang dalawa. Plus, hindi rin natin mare-reuse yung mga styles na yon sa iba pang HTML files kung irerekta nga natin siya sa HTML element, di ba? Isa pa, magiging cost din siya sa pagbagal ng pagload ng ginagawa nyong webpage. Ang inline style is good lang siya for testing and prototyping. Mabilis tsaka madali lang din siyang gamitin for specific styles. But for large projects, di siya recommended. Kasi nga, hindi siya reusable and mahirap din siyang i-maintain. Alright? The next one is the internal or embedded style. Internal styles are defined within the style tag in the head section of an HTML document. Sa taas naman siya, sa loob ng head. Here's an example. Ayan. This method allows us to keep our styles within the same file as our HTML. Parehas sila ng inline style na nasa loob lang din ng HTML file. Ang kinaiba lang niya is sa head nga siya nakalagay. Mas organized din ang internal style because it keeps the style centralized for the document. Mas madali rin siyang i-maintain compared sa inline styles. Kaso nga lang, hindi rin siya reusable across multiple HTML documents. Magagamit nyo lang din siya within the HTML file and since kasama rin siya ng HTML file nyo, it also increases the size of your HTML file. Okay, the last one is the external style. External styles are defined in a separate CSS file and linked to the HTML document using the link tag. Yung link tag, guys, ginagamit natin siya to link files sa ating HTML. And its main use is to link CSS files. Sa link tag, gumagamit tayo ng rel attribute, which stands for relationship, to define the relationship between the link file and the HTML document. So sa case ng CSS, the rel attribute will be style sheet, since CSS is a style sheet for the HTML. Bali, yung attribute lang na kailangan nating i-define dito is yung href. Yung href dito, guys, is same lang din sa href sa anchor tag. Kung napanood nyo yung tutorial ko sa HTML for Beginners, diniscuss ko doon kung paano siya gamitin. So, href stands for Hypertext Reference. Diyan natin nilalagay yung URL ng CSS files. It should point to our CSS file o kaya naman sa URL ng another user's CSS file. Actually, ito yung pinaka-common and pinaka-recommended na way to apply styles. Lalo na for larger projects due to its maintainability, and reusability. I have here an example. Ayan, and ito yung CSS file. Nakaseparate yung CSS file and kinol natin siya dito sa head ng ating HTML file. Dito sa external styles, we can reuse the styles across multiple HTML documents by linking it. Mas mabilis din yung pag-load ng web page natin. And ang pinaka-importante is, malinis yung ating HTML file tsaka mas madaling i-maintain compared sa inline and internal. Halo-halo, di ba? Yun nga lang, medyo complex lang siya pagdating sa setup compared sa inline and internal. Yung inline and internal kasi, within the HTML file lang, di ba? Sa external, separate file siya. Pero guys, each method has its own use cases naman, so it's up to you pa rin. Okay? So, alam na natin kung ano yung classes and IDs. Alam na rin natin gumawa ng CSS styles. I-apply na natin yan sa HTML page. As you can see, dito sa left side, I have here a sample HTML page. Ito yung code. I'm using Notepad++. Sa previous HTML tutorial, di ba sabi ko gagamitin natin yung Notepad++ para makita niyo siya. Ito siya. Let's start. Simulan natin sa inline style. Dito sa H1, papalitan ko siya ng kulay. Mag-add lang ako ng style attribute. Diyan pa lang, nagbibigay na siya ng suggestion, di ba? Compared sa plain na notepad. Style attribute, then set nyo yung color value. Since yung color property nga is ginagamit natin to change the text color. I'm going to set this color to blue. Save and reload. Ayan, nabago na yung kulay. Blue na siya. That is an example of inline style. But since alam naman na natin na hindi ganun kaganda gumamit ng inline style, remove natin and let's use the style tag inside the head and use H1 selector to select the H1 element. Tapos set natin yung color to green. Green naman. Save and reload. Naging green na siya. But again, internal style is not the best way. Instead, let's create a new file. Click File, New, Save as, pangalanan natin siyang styles.css. Sa loob, lagay natin dyan yung H1 selector natin and set natin yung color to red. Para ma-load to sa page natin, we need to use a link tag here. Okay? Yung rel is style sheet. href is going to point to our styles.css file. In this case, pwede na nating burahin tong internal CSS style dito. Save and reload. Ayan, red na siya. Nalink na natin yung styles.css dito sa ating HTML web page. Dito sa part na to guys, sa href, depende pa rin yun sa path ng CSS file nyo. For larger projects kasi, nilalagay natin yung mga CSS file sa isang folder para organize. So, kinocall din natin yung folder name bago tong mismong name ng CSS file. Okay? Sa CSS guys, mahalaga rin yung sequence. For example, nag-add ako ng isa pang H1 selector. Then, sinet naman natin yung color ng orange. Save and reload. Ang magiging kulay niya ay orange. From red, then orange. Alright? Let's dive deeper, guys. Mag-add naman tayo ng class. Dito sa H1. Class is equal to main_title. Balik tayo sa CSS file. Sabi natin kanina, to select an element by class, gumagamit tayo ng dot or tuldok. So, tuldok, tapos yung name ng class. Set natin yung color to red. Save and reload. Naging red na yung H1. Bakit hindi siya orange? Nakaset ng orange yung H1. Bakit ganon? Kasi guys, yung mga element selectors, sila yung lowest selectors. Which means, palagi silang nasasapawan ng other selectors, gaya nga nitong class selector. Pero itong class selector, now-overwrite naman siya ng ID or ID selector. In short, ID selector is the most important, followed by the class selector, and last is yung element selector. Ganon siya. Ang priority is ID, next is class, tsaka pa lang yung element. Try natin. Dito sa H1, mag-a-add ako ng ID, main. Tapos, sa CSS naman, or sa styles.css, dito sa pinakataas, call natin siya. To select an element by ID, gumagamit naman tayo ng number sign or hashtag, followed by the ID name, main. Set natin yung color to green. Kung sequential, from green magiging red, tapos orange, then red again. Pero let's check. Color green. Kasi nga, when it comes to HTML or CSS, ang most important or ang priority is yung ID selector. Tsaka pa lang yung class selector, tapos element selector. Okay? Another example. What if meron tayong ID, class, and another class? Gaya nito. ID, class, and class 2. So, mas mataas yung level niya. And what if meron tayong 3 classes? Class 2, and class 3. Siyempre, ang ipaprioritize niyan ay yung may ID. Kaya lahat ng nandito sa loob nitong 3 classes ay ma-overwrite nito. Sa ganitong instances, uunahin yung bilangin yung number of IDs sa selector. Pero kapag equal yung number ng IDs, ang sunod nyong bilangin ay yung number of classes sa selector. Kapag equal din, next nyo ay yung number of elements in the selector. Kapag equal pa rin, tsaka palang papasok yung sequence. Doon pa lang siya masusunod. Okay? Isa pa guys, most of HTML elements have a set of default styles that is applied to them. Gaya nitong H1 tag. Meron siyang default na margin sa taas at baba. Itong paragraph tag naman, color black siya by default. It's because the text color is inherited from whatever the parent is. Sa case natin, na-inherit niya yan sa body. So, kung babaguhin natin yung color ng body, magbabago din yung text color ng buong application. Gawin natin. Body. Color, gawin nating purple. Save and reload. Ayan. Okay. Purple na yung paragraph. Pati itong H2. Except dito sa H1. Dahil in-specify natin siya using ID selector. Itong green. Speaking of colors, meron tayong different ways to define colors in HTML. By default, we can use color names like red, blue, green, purple, and so on. Pero minsan, gusto natin ng darker color or lighter, di ba? Compared sa basic colors na meron tayo. So, in order to do that, pwede tayong gumamit ng hexadecimal colors. It starts with hashtag or number sign. Parang ID lang, di ba? So, hashtag followed by 6 hexadecimal digits. Hexadecimal number is similar to our decimal system. Di ba yung decimal system, it goes from 0 to 9. Pero ang hexadecimal is from 0 to 15. In order to represent those numbers that are above 9, hexadecimal uses the letters A, B, C, D, E, and F. So if you wanted to write 15 in hexadecimal, ang ilalagay natin is number sign followed by an F that means 15. In hexadecimal, nahahati siya into 3 distinct parts of 2 digits or pair. Each pair represents the color red, green, and blue components of the color, and this is on a scale from 0 to double F, where double F is equal to 255 in decimal. Kaya kapag mas maliit yung number, mas lighter siya. So for example, gawin nating 0, 0 itong first pair. It means there is no color red at all. Kapag naman itong second pair, it means there is no green at all. Third pair, wala naman siyang color blue. Kapag 0 lahat, it means color black. Kapag gusto nyong blue lang, 0 tong first and second pair. Double F itong third pair. Save and reload. Ayan, blue. Kapag red, itong first pair lang ang double F. The rest is 0. Save, reload. Okay. Yan yung hexadecimal colors. Medyo complicated lang siyang gamitin, no? Pero don't worry, meron pa tayong ibang ways to define colors in CSS. Meron din tayong tinatawag na RGB, red, green, and blue. Parang hexadecimal version pero mas shallow siya ng konti. In RGB, naka-breakdown siya into 3 distinct sections. So, ganun pa rin. We have red, which goes between 0 to 255. And this is in decimal. If ever na gusto nating pure red, lagay nyo lang 255. The next value is green again, separated by comma. Gawin natin siyang 255. And yung third value is blue. O gawin nating 0. So, red and green equals yellow. Kapag naman gusto natin ulit ng blue, 0 tong first and second. 255 itong third. Save and reload. Ayan, blue. Meron pa tayong another way. Kapag naman gusto nyo yung medyo transparent na color, you can use RGBA. Red, green, blue, but includes A. A for alpha channel to set the opacity. 4 yung value niya. So dito, from RGB, gawin lang natin siyang RGBA. And mag-a-add tayo ng another value dito sa dulo, pang-4. Ang value is from 0 to 1, which is going to be the transparency. Kapag 1, it is fully opaque. Kapag naman 0, transparent talaga siya. Pwede rin namang 0.5, partially transparent. Gawin nating 0.5. O, ayan yung opacity or yung transparency. O, hindi siya ganon ka-dark. Unlike 1, di ba? Yan yung RGBA. Last is meron din tayong HSL values. HSL stands for hue, saturation, and lightness. Gaya ng RGB, meron din tayong HSLA. A for alpha channel also, to set the opacity. So, yung hue, it is a degree on the color wheel. 0 to 360. Meron akong color wheel dito. It determines kung anong kulay yung gagamitin mo. Try natin yung around 220 para sa color blue. Next, saturation is a percentage naman, 0 to 100%. It determines the intensity of a color. Kapag 100%, syempre super bright siya. Kapag naman 0, so obviously no color. It's either black or white or somewhere in between. Gamitin natin yung 50% para hindi ganun katingkad. Dun siya sa moderate lang. Next, lightness. Lightness is also a percentage, 0 to 100%. It determines how bright the color is. 100% is max. So you're going to have an entirely white color dyan. Pag 0, entirely black, walang light. That's why. So kayo na bahalang mag-set if ever na gagamit kayo ng HSL or RGB. Tatry ko yung 50. Ayan. Saktong blue lang yung naging output, but hindi rin siya ganun ka blue, gaya ng default, diba? Let's try naman yung HSLA. Nabanggit ko na kanina kung ano yung HSLA, diba? Let's try to set the opacity or transparency here. 1 is totally opaque siya, and 0 as in transparent siya. Dun tayo sa middle. 0.5. Save and reload. Medyo naging light siya. Just like the RGBA lang din, di ba? So that's how you define colors in HTML or CSS. Next, box model naman tayo. Ano ba yung box model? Ang box model is fundamental concept siya in web design and CSS. Lalagyan siya ng mga elements. It consists of 4 parts: content, padding, border, and margin. Tatalakayin natin dito yan. I'm going to create a new div element. Class name is box. Add tayo ng style. Height is 100 pixels. Width is 100 pixels also. Padding, 20 pixels. Margin, 50 pixels. Border, 10 pixels, solid black. Background color, blue. Hindi ko naman favorite yung blue. Let's check it first. Save, reload. Ayan. Meron na tayo ritong box. Background color, blue. Border, 10 pixels solid black. Yung margin and padding, para makita nyo, right-click nyo lang, inspect. And eto, makikita nyo dyan yung box model nyo. Ito yung width and height. 100 pixels parehas, which is the actual content. Sa paligid niya is yung padding na inad natin, 20 pixels. Border, 10 pixels around the padding. And last is yung margin around the content. Itong 50 pixels. How does box model works nga ba? So, itong nasa loob, dyan nakalagay yung actual content nyo like texts, images, videos, and so on. Next is padding. Para naman siya sa spacing between the content and border. For example, button. Yung text na nasa button and yung pinaka-border. In case na masyado kang nasisikipan sa spacing between the text and border ng button mo, you can use padding. Next is border. Self-explanatory naman na siya. So last is margin. The space outside your box. Malaking tulong tong margin, lalo na sa pag-organize ng mga elements. Margin is meant to space elements around other elements and padding is meant to space elements around their own border. Okay, so ano-ano ba yung mga units na pwede nating gamitin pagdating dito sa box model? Close muna natin to. First is yung pixels. Self-explanatory na rin to. Pixels, yan yung palagi natin ginagamit. Itong px. Ayan. Siya yung default every time we're defining precise measurements. Next is em. Yung em ay kadalasan siyang ginagamit sa mga fonts or any font-related situations. So, 1 em is equal to the current font size of the element. So, if your current font size is 16 pixels, 1 em is equal to 16 pixels. It means 2 em is equal to 32 pixels and so on. meron din tayong REM or REM. Almost same lang din siya ng EM. Kinaiba lang niya is naka-based siya sa font size ng root element, and it is typically the HTML element. REM means root element. So 1 EM is equal to the font size of the root element. Mas consistent din ang REM since naka-base nga siya sa font size ng root. By default, sineset siya ng browser to 16 pixels, pero it can be changed naman. Okay, next is percentage. Isa rin to sa madalas gamitin. Okay din kasi siya pagdating sa pagka-create ng responsive designs. Percentage is relative to the parent element's dimension. So for example, gumamit ka ng percentage sa width and height. So yung width and height na yon ay nakadepende sa size ng parent element. Gaya nitong box. Kung magka-create tayo ng another box sa loob nito, tapos sinet natin ng 100% yung width and height nun, it means sakop niya yung buong box kasi nga yun yung parent element niya. Sample. Add tayo ng another box sa loob nito. Box 2. Height and width 100%, color red. Remove din natin to para same sila. Save and reload. Ayan. Sakop ng box 2 yung box 1. Gawin nating 50% yung width. Save and reload. Ayan, half na lang. Alright? Yan yung mga kailangan nyo to start with CSS. Using these simple rules, makakagawa na kayo ng basic website and makakapag-design na rin kayo using these CSS rules. Marami-rami na siya, but still, meron pa rin tayong mga hindi na-cover dyan na tatalakayin din natin sa mga susunod pang tutorials. Thank you guys for watching and see you sa ating next tutorials.